we talk to an awful lot of small business owners, and the first day of our small business breakthrough bootcamp is a lot about mindset. And let's talk about who your audience is. And quite often, when we drill down and let's talk about who is your target market, as Sharyn said, who do you want to play with? You can get that far more specific than you think you did. And the more you can niche your business down and target that message, the more you can charge for it because you're the expert in the field.
Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name is Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. And you can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And today it's my great pleasure to welcome Sharyn and Hank Yuloff, and they're from Yuloff Creative. And we're going to be discussing marketing your small business. And Hank and Sharyn Yuloff come today with a very unique perspective. Hank is an expert targeted marketer for small businesses with a background in sales, marketing, and economics, who's coached business owners for decades. And Sharyn's path went through business affairs and human resources and is an online marketing expert. Yuloff Creative is a boutique marketing firm designing customized online and traditional marketing plans. Each year they teach several small business breakthrough boot camps, are authors of 6 best-selling books, and host a video podcast called the Marketing Checklist Viewcast. They also offer a very affordable group coaching marketing program. Welcome, Sharyn and Hank. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for letting us be here.
So tell me a little bit about your 6 books. That's an impressive amount of books to be writing.
Well, the truth be told, the story began. We had a business. I had a business coach who said you have to have a book. People want to hire the person that wrote the book on the subject, and I fought it. As most people that have not written a book that are told they should have a book fight it. And he said, you know what? I have an event coming in March. If you have your book done by then I give you a speaking spot on our stage in front of about 300 people. Great. So I did what you see in the movies. I sat down in front of the computer. There was the blank screen and the blinking cursor. Like they actually was there. Okay, I have to write a book. What's it going to be about? And I'm scanning about my desk looking for inspiration. And I realized I had just been doing some rubber band marketing. That's when you go to events and you have a stack of business cards that you're supposed to follow up with, but you put a rubber band around them so they all stay together. And then sometimes you forget to follow up. So I was doing rubber band marketing. And I remember thinking, I didn't like a lot of those business cards. There was something wrong. I wonder if there's a pattern. And it turns out, actually, I've got it. There are 49 things that, in fact, it's 49 stupid things people do with business cards and how to fix them. So that book came out. I got to speak on stage. I handed it to, went bestseller on Amazon, handed it to my coach. I said, there, I've got a book. And he looked at it. And he looks at it, he hands it back to me, he says, that's awesome. Where's the workbook? What workbook? Well, you just spent 100 and something pages telling people their business cards sucked. Don't you think you ought to tell them how to do it right? Blank screen, blinking cursor, putting together the workbook, and that turned into 80 simple ways to master your marketing. And the pattern has continued. And then Sharyn and I were partnered, so we needed a human resources book. So the HR book and a book on sales, and
Social media.
now I've got 6 books. And there's actually another one that's coming out on our 30th wedding anniversary this July.
Wow.
And
Congratulations.
thank you. It's called Partners in Everything because we work together. We have, our everything, the best of both of us, we work together. And one of our friends said, you really should write a book about people that work together.
Mm.
Huh. That's a good idea. Now, understand we're talking about marketing. So from the marketing point of view, that's how we use our books. And quite a few of our clients are partners in everything as well. So because we have, when we're talking to somebody about sales, we give them the sales book. And when they're talking about social media, we give them the social media book. So we needed this book.
Excellent. Yes. Well done. Yeah, my husband and I will be married 30 years this year as well. So, hey.
Would you like to be in our book?
Oh, why not?
We're interviewing people. We'll send you the questions.
Okay.
All you do is answer the questions. It's as simple as it can be. Send them back to us, and you will be in the book.
Wow, that's exciting.
It's really that easy.
Yeah, my husband and I owned a retail food business for about 10 years, and of course we worked together almost every day. Mm-hmm. And it was challenging. And so, you're mentioning having worked together for so many years. That was a segue into a question that just came to mind about how you handled it, because it's not always easy to be married and work together.
We made a deal early on that the marriage comes first. The business it's great and all, but it's secondary. And if the business starts getting in the way, if those conversations, if those disagreements are in the way and they're ruining the marriage, then I'll go back and find an office and HR job.
Mm. Yeah, although now it's 51% of the business. Not really quite sure how that would work. We figured it out for us, and that's part of what the book is and why we're interviewing people. We haven't cornered the market, how to work together and make it, we do things differently than I'm sure other couples do.
We know that it's different than other couples.
So
we were challenged a lot of the times because, obviously owning a retail food business, it's like almost 24/7. It's on your brain all the time. And, we found it really challenging not to take work home with us, because we'd, get home and then we'd discuss the day or, plans for the future. And so work did tend to get in the way of our relationship. So it was very challenging for 10 years.
Did you have a threshold rule?
No.
Some couples have a threshold rule. There are certain places.
We don't.
No, we don't. There are certain places in the house where if you're over that threshold, there's no business talk. Like, if we're brushing our teeth, no. But for us, it could be, by the way, we have a thing tomorrow. So we don't have that. Mm. Some couples do.
It's especially important if there's at least one member of the couple that needs that sort of break, right? If you're both on the same page, then it doesn't matter. But if someone needs that rule, then it's helpful to have it so that they feel like there's still couple time and protected time. As long as we both agree, it's not relevant.
Yeah. Hey, as long as you both agree. Sometimes we didn't agree.
Exactly, and that's one of the reasons the book is going to be there, because we want other couples to say, "Oh, wow, see, we're not crazy," or that's how they solve that challenge that we're having. Maybe we can try that. So that's
why we're interviewing others, because we know what works for us, but we figure a reader who is looking for answers, right? That's great that they do it that way, but I wonder how somebody else does it, and we want to have those.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I reckon it'll be a bestseller. Don't you worry.
We're not worried.
We had the idea a couple of years ago, and we've had, we've wanted this book for a while, but we had other projects that we had to do, so it's kind of been sitting there. And then I was talking about the book. I was on Clubhouse, and I was talking about the book, and my subconscious took over and said, And to celebrate our 30th wedding anniversary, July, that book's going to come out then. It's like, oh dear, I just set a date.
Oh no.
So, yeah. So now everything is in motion, and we've worked backwards. When we have to have the interviews done by the end of April, and it'll go to the editor who will have it in May, and we'll start, the calendar is set.
Oh, you're mad.
No, it just like in everything with our businesses, if you have goals, if you don't, it's great to have the goals. It's great to have them written down. If you don't have a date certain, that works against you.
Well, it does. Yes, I agree.
So,
Tell me a little bit more about your how can small business owners or business owners in general market their businesses a lot better? I might direct that at Sharyn, because you're an online marketing expert, and I know because of what's happened in the world over the last year, getting online is really, really important, and because a lot of business owners haven't been bothered doing it until then. So explain to me how they can do it better.
The concepts are the same, whether we're talking about online or offline. The concept is the same. Identify who's your ideal client, who's your favorite client, who's your most profitable client. Those might be 3 different answers, by the way. And then the messaging to attract that client. And then worry about, well, where do I put that message, whether that's online or offline. It really starts with the ideal client.
Yeah, I know that messaging is very important, but
Yes.
what if you're not a storyteller, or you don't use, you're very clinical and logical in how you write. How do you get your message across that attracts that client?
Well, think about who you've already attracted and what did you say to them? Or you can ask them, what was it about working with me that attracted you, right? What did you hear that made you reach out, and use those words then in your marketing to reach others?
And, there are an awful lot of people that are out there that can help you do that. They can take your, we do it for our clients. It's tell us your story, and we help craft it. There's an awful lot of writers out there that do that. That they'll take your basics and create your story. And it can be very frustrating if you're not a content creator by heart. We feel for them. That's never really been our challenge, but we understand it. In fact, if you went back to 2019, one of our running conversations was, we should get that webinar done so we can have an evergreen webinar that people can, landing page, webinar, connect. And we crafted the script, and we had all of that, and we just never created the time. And then the pandemic hit, and we've done over 100 and something webinars in a year, because you're forced to. Between the pandemic and a recession, everyone had to pivot their business. So
yeah, I agree.
Takes over, and it's time to get going.
Yeah, a lot of businesses unfortunately didn't take the opportunity to change what they were doing, and obviously had closed down. I mean, there are opportunities. I would say in some businesses, they couldn't take their product or their service or whatever online. And so I understand that. But a lot of the ones that had that opportunity didn't take the opportunity to do that because they didn't know how. So how could they have, say, pivoted? Say they were a service provider doing, I don't know, pick one, just pick a service provider, and how could they have changed what they were doing if they were just doing it offline, and then the pandemic they could have pivoted.
I'll give you an example of one of our clients last year. She had worked for a printer
A print shop.
she'd worked for a print shop for 30 years. Everyone thought she owned it, but she didn't. And after one of our events, again, toward the end of 2019, she came up to us and said, "Can I talk with you folks?" And she had decided, she had the spark, "I'd like to go out on my own. How do I do it?" And we started having conversations, and setting up her path. And she opened her business in January of 2020, just in time. And as March settled in, we started looking at, okay, what are we going to do? You're doing printing, and instead of doing these three things, she was going to be doing a lot of in-person networking. Well, that's not possible. So what alternatives are there? Well, people are starting to meet online. So you're doing the same sorts of things, you're just doing it a different way.
She also had to change who her ideal client was, right? Originally, she thought, well, I'm going to work with event planners. Okay, well, no one's planning events in 2020. So we had to pivot to who's your next favorite client? Who do you think is going to be the next most profitable client, and pivot that as well.
Let's talk to businesses that are still doing direct mail. They still need to print. So it was changed, the way she did it and some of the target, but still being able to sell printing. And she ended up the year profitable. So yay for her. And she worked her tail off. And a lot of businesses had to do that. We chose to, look at it as positive as we could last year. What else?
Yeah, it was really hard last year for everybody. It doesn't matter what kind
absolutely.
of business you had. So I'm just reading through here. So how can people improve their revenue through better marketing?
Let's start at the beginning. We talk to an awful lot of small business owners, and we'll the first day of our small business breakthrough bootcamp is a lot about mindset, and let's talk about who your audience is. And quite often, when we drill down and let's talk about who is your target market, as Sharyn said, who do you want to play with? You can get that far more specific than you think you did. And the more you can niche your business down and target that message, the more you can charge for it, because you're the expert in the field. And amazingly, people realize, let's use our printing client as an example. She wanted to work with event planners. She wanted to do invitations, and she's really amazing at designing and print. It's a skill. So at some point she's going to go back there, and it will come down to in that niche, planners will find out, if you need invitations done, there's this one printer, Peacock Print Co. They are amazing at designing and the paper, right? And she's right now, that's just sitting on the shelf, that part. But the more you can get very specific and serve that smaller niche, the more successful you're going to be. Even the largest retailers, not everybody shops there. There are people that won't shop on Amazon, even though they're the largest, online company. There are some people that won't go to Walmart, even though they're the largest retailer. Well,
I don't know if they have Walmart in Australia.
I don't know.
No, we have Kmart. We don't have Walmart.
Well,
we know of Walmart though, because we get memes about it all the time.
So okay, McDonald's. There are some people that won't eat at McDonald's, but if I want a nice coffee, let me tell you, it's addictive. So if the largest retailers and restaurant chains aren't attracting everybody, what makes us think that we're going to attract everybody? But if we can narrow it down, if we can pick those people and say, hey, I know exactly what you need and I've got that for you, the more you can narrow it down, the more you can get really specific, the better it is.
And as you get that specific, then those bright, shiny objects, you know, the guy that calls you and says, I have this really great place for you to advertise. And you go, oh, that sounds fabulous because they have, you know, X number of thousands of readers or whatever, right? Okay, well, now that you've niched, wait, is my ideal client even reading that publication? Because if not, there's no reason for me to invest in that shiny object.
So that
Absolutely.
you save your money there and you're investing in other places. You know, shoot, I had a thought.
I'm so sorry.
It left. It was my,
I'm
darn
so
it.
sorry.
It'll come back.
My bad.
I'll interrupt in the middle. It'll come back.
Oh, you have the same problem too. You have a thought and someone's talking and then, oh, what's that thought?
You know, there is in almost all of our webinars, there is a slide, and it's a copyright slide, and it's where we're supposed to talk about protecting your intellectual property. And I cannot tell you how often I will get to that slide and the words intellectual property are nowhere to be found in my brain. It's like, and Sharyn knows this. I have this little wall around those two words, and sometimes I can't get over the wall to find those two words.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's just like you know the word, it's right here, but you can't
Yes.
get it out, and it's horrible.
It's
And it's so
frustrating.
embarrassing when you're doing a Facebook Live and you think you get to those words and you can't even, like, it's an object, and you think, yeah, I know what it looks like and I know what it does, but do you think I could find the word for it? And so, you know that big image
No.
that you do this with, and it's so embarrassing.
Your clients don't want to know that you're perfect. They want to know that you're human.
Absolutely. So I guess we've talked a little bit about messaging and, you know, finding your ideal client and niching down and all that sort of thing. But how can people, you know, better their messaging to actually get in front of their prospects so that they'll be attracted? Because I know there's cold leads and warm leads and hot leads, but, you know, how do you attract those cold leads?
I'm going to let you answer. I'm going to turn the light on because apparently the light in here has changed.
Okay. Understand that. So we had, let's talk about our studio. In our house, we have the people that built our house. We're sitting in what used to be part of a garage, and then they walled it off because on the other side of the wall over here, they needed an office. So there was this left like 10 by 10 foot room that turned into, when we moved in the house, it's like, oh, that's a studio. So we have all sorts of cool lighting, but when the sun goes down, all of a sudden we have to switch the lighting. And that's, so.
Yeah, if I leave my curtains open, I'm all blue because there's window tinting on the windows. So I have to close the curtains and put my ring light on so that, yeah, I'm not blue.
So here's the tip for those that are watching. In the middle of this, if you figure a 10 by 10 square, in the middle is a ceiling fan. We took out the regular lights and we put in LED lights, and there's always those 4 lights pointing down. Yeah. We have in the 2 that are pointing away from us, so there isn't direct LED light on, so it bounces perfectly off the walls and fills in this way. It makes it for excellent lighting in the room. So there's
migraine.
Yeah. So how you set it up. Creating your messaging. So remember, you're niching it down. And it comes down to, you know, the basic marketing plan. Find out what they want, go get it, and sell it to them. You really do. It really helps to ask people, what do you need? You know, if let's say that you're a plumbing supply house and you're talking to the plumbers, hey, we're looking at carrying a line of tools. What are the best tools that you've found? Which ones should we carry? Asking your potential clients is just such a simple thing, but a lot of people are kind of embarrassed to ask.
Well, and then you use the words that they actually use to answer your question. Use that as part of your messaging to then attract more of those kinds of clients. So really pay attention to what those words are, and don't paraphrase. Don't try and reframe it to the words you would use. Like, really, honestly, use the words that they use and use it, and you use it back on them. That's all.
You know, heck,
that's all.
That's all. You know, our coaching programs. You know, we know that coaches need coaches, and we were looking for coaches, and we had several, and we we never ended up being quite as happy as we wanted. So we asked ourselves, what would we want in our coaching programs that isn't there? And that's in our coaching program. And as we refined it, we started asking people that wanted to be in our group coaching program, okay, these are the things we want that we think should be in there. Of those 10 things, what are the 5 or 6 most important? And it got narrowed down to, it's great to have an online marketing plan, which we do, but they said, we're always going to have questions. So could we get private time with you? Sure. So everyone that comes into our group coaching program, we start with a couple of hours, 2 on them, so that we help them get focused so that the whole rest of the program works better.
And then we use those words that they used to describe whatever that thing was that they wanted to then call it that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a good plan.
Amazing. A little product research into your own product. It's kind of basic stuff, but we all overthink it.
But you get these coaches that tell you to overthink it, and they say, do this and do that and do something else. And, you do that and do whatever. And at the end there's crickets.
Yeah.
We believe in the easy button.
Yeah.
Let's not make it overly complicated.
What's the fastest, if you're gonna sell something, what's the fastest path to cash? If you have a choice of doing 3 different things, which is the fastest path to cash?
Yeah.
And what's going to give you the most joy? Sometimes they're not the same.
Prioritization helps.
We have part of our program on Monday afternoons, we have a group mastermind. Everyone comes in, whatever questions they have, we go around the room, what questions? And there's one gentleman in there that everyone knows he's part of his challenge is he puts roadblocks in front of himself. And it's a mindset thing. So now we don't even have to really say it when he brings something up. I'll wait. And somebody else is going to say, I think that's a roadblock you're putting up there, Bill. He says, oh, darn it. and we all get a good laugh because we understand we're all human.
Mm.
We all have blinders for our business. So that's what our job as coaches. We want to help people look around the blinders, and it's why we have a coach. We have a speaking coach, which you probably.
Well, what's the name of your program? Is it online or in person?
It's both, but right now it's all online. We only talk to people online. There's this thing going around called something, and we're even though Sharyn and I just got our second vaccination, we're still not going to do things in person for a while. It's all virtual. It's called the Small Business Marketing Plan. It's at thecompanymarketingplan.com. Yeah, thecompanymarketingplan.com is where it all is. In fact, you know what? Here's the thing: if you found it and you tell us that you saw us on Rose's show, we'll take $200 off of it, and we'll give another $100 to Rose's favorite nonprofit.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's very generous.
Well, it goes back to what you were saying. How do you find clients? We know that we have an acquisition cost for clients, right? So do you. Well, if being on your show, you were nice enough to have us on your show, why can't we give them a break for supporting your show and watching it? And why can't we, make you a hero to one of your nonprofits?
Oh, that's so generous. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, nonprofits are important to us.
Yes, I'm the president of a domestic violence and awareness initiative, and we run free pamper days for survivors, and it's an annual event.
Well, there we go. So your nonprofit will benefit from it.
Yeah,
we tell
effort out of our own pocket because we can't get any funding for it. So, and we just rely on sponsorship and donations to run these events for these ladies.
Yeah.
Many do.
We tell every entrepreneur, you have to find a nonprofit, some cause that speaks to you, and you give back, because we
Small business owner.
Yeah, we generate our revenue from our communities, and however you define community. So
Absolutely. And it improves your social footprint, basically.
yeah, and you're helping people out. What possibly could be wrong with that ever?
Mm.
You know,
People don't see it that way, though.
fortunate. You know, we're fortunate enough. We're doing okay. We're gonna get through the winter. You know,
Mm.
for us to not be socially conscious is just it's wrong.
It is. I'm the same. I couldn't just ignore somebody because, you know, they don't look the same as me, or they don't have as much money as me, or, you know, they don't dress like me. You know, I can't. Oh, you got a pussycat.
That's Tessie.
Hello, gorgeous.
Yeah, we should have told you. At least one of them was going to come across the screen at some time.
Yeah, mine's asleep in
Embarrassing.
the lounge room. So yeah, I love cat. I'm going to grow up to be an old cat lady.
We just adopted number 4. Her
Oh yeah, my husband won't let me adopt anymore.
Yeah, her person passed away unexpectedly. She's 16 years old, and she's only lived by herself with her human her whole life, and now suddenly she has 2 humans and 3 other cats, and she's not happy.
No, she wouldn't be. No, but she'll get there. She'll be fine.
She now owns the guest room.
Okay. Yeah.
And she whines about being picked up, but once you pick her up, she settles right in, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember I like this. So she's
she might have arthritis or something. You know, you never know.
Yes, we give her shots a couple times a week.
Yeah, I want to grow up to be our own house cat. You know,
yeah, wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, and this cat came to us. She was in a shelter, and someone had declawed her front claws, and they ended up turning her in. And we were at the shelter. We let her out. I'm sitting on the ground, cross-legged. She walked over, curled up in my lap. It's like, well, I guess this is the one we're bringing home. So she's mine, I guess. Although she's in your lap.
She's in my lap.
Why do people do such cruel things? I don't know. I don't understand.
And then to do it and then give her up is just really.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, I mean, we're not here to talk about cats and cruelty and all that.
You're not. It's cat talk on the Rose Davidson Hour.
All right, guys, where can people find you?
Easiest place. Our website is Yuloff Creative. That's spelled kind of funny. It's YULOFF.
It's down at the bottom.
Yeah. If you'd like 30 minutes with us for free, it's howtogettherefaster.com, because people ask us 2 questions. What am I supposed to do first, and how do I get there faster? So howtogettherefaster.com gets you a free 30 minutes. If you want to come to our next boot camp, no matter where you are, the next one's in June. It'll be virtual. Planyourmarketing.com. So there's a whole bunch of ways to find us, whole bunch of free stuff that's out there for you. And that's
absolutely. Thank you. What is your last bit of advice that you would give a small business owner?
Our motto: if everything happens for a reason, be the reason things happen.
Very good. I like that. I might put that up on my wall.
Good.
You absolutely may.
All right. Sharyn and Hank, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you. And again, thank you so much for your offer. It's absolutely amazing.
And when you come to the States, you have a place to stay in our guest suite, Rose. And they come with cats. So
all right. Thank you so much, and enjoy your evening.
Absolutely. Enjoy your day.
Yes.
I will. Thank you so much.
Bye now.